Hello everyone, happy Monday. Good to be here today. I hope the week's starting very well for you guys. I felt it would be a good day to start my daily or almost daily live videos here on Facebook. And today I would actually like to start the topic with you guys about not just external types of women. We talked about that I categorized four types of Ukrainian women, but starting to learn emotional types a little bit more into depth if it's something you've never really considered learning, or maybe you are currently in a relationship where you just don't know what to do. You feel like the person you're with, when they get overwhelmed, they just want to be left alone. And today we're going to talk about being in a relationship with an empath or sensitive person. So I want to say hi guys, Mark, Ricky, and everybody else who's in the room. I really feel this would be beneficial, and in fact I just got an email from somebody who was very interested in this topic because of his current relationship, and as long as I know it's helpful, I want to bring these things here. So who is an empath and who are sensitive people, and is it something that does gender has anything happens more sensitive people are more women or men, and all the things we're going to discuss today. So it's really gender neutral. It is something that it's a personality type. It's an emotional psychological personality type, and a lot of times people who are sensitive, sometimes when they grew up, their parents took it as weakness because they would overreact to certain things, or they would be overwhelmed easily. But what most people do not know, that people who are an empath and sensitive like that, they can feel things that the other people can never feel, and they can experience things that the other people would have a lot harder time to figure out. Basically, they could be a lie detector, they could be a mind reader and soul reader, and they can experience your emotions, good or bad, like their own, in their own mind, body, and soul. That's why they have to be extremely protective for their basically emotional survival. They have to be extremely protective of their emotional space, because they can easily feel almost sick, and they have to create these boundaries. And it doesn't mean that they do not want you, do not like you, or do not care for you. Usually they care too much, so sometimes they need they often need time alone to be able to recharge and feel better. And here I want to give you a kind of a tip on how to define whether this person is an empath, a sensitive person, or you are with a woman who do not care for you. What you do, you just see their overall behavior. The empath person the empath lady, now we talk about women, she will know you better than anybody else, or it will feel like to you that she knows you better than people who knew you for years, people who knew you for decades of your life. Well, you might have a friend or two that really know you well, but she knows you so well, and she understands you and feels you, and you kind of shocked. You almost feel, how could she know this? How could did she know how I feel and what I was just thinking? It's almost like you talk to her and she answers questions you haven't even asked, but you had them in your head. Or she relates to the thoughts you have in your head, and continuing, and you totally puzzled. You feel an incredible connections. You are delighted to have a person that it's such a relief to be with somebody that can just feel you and understand you, and it cannot be achieved if it's not there. Guys, I'm not a scientist, I don't have a degree in psychiatric things, but I've always observed people that it's been always my passion. And one thing I've noticed, when people try to work on their relationship and they tell all about the external things, how they change this and how they change that, but if connection isn't there and you really want to be alive, you want to feel alive, it will never ever work. You can do activities together, you can, travel together, you can build things together, but if you're not connecting on a high level, you can stay in a relationship, it can work all your life, but you will never feel alive, and you will never feel that wonderful joy of connection. And with an empath, with the right person, you never had this problem. You will never have this problem, because they always feel you and they know you, whether you want it or not. And actually, it has relationship like this has a lot of benefits, because things that excite you, or things that bother you, things that you love, or things that you hate, they already know you. They can feel them once again, and it just comes to them effortlessly. But the downside, of being an empath is also serious, in that you can get hurt, you can get overwhelmed, you catching up so much on the close people emotions, and even the person that you absolutely love, you cannot be with them all the time. And I started talking about the differences between the person who actually needs their time alone, like I just described, a genuine woman, for example, or it could be a man, it doesn't really matter, that love you, understand you, just from it comes within. They are very deep people. And what happens was the other side sometimes, you can have a person that doesn't care about you, but you will have the same situation, like they don't call you enough, they don't answer enough, but you can tell me, well, here is the same result, but this one person is cares about the other and this one is not, but I see the same amounts of time we talk or we don't talk. So the number one thing here is that person that kind of deserts you, but when you are together with her, you don't feel connected either. That's the main difference. That person never remembers, when is your birthday, never remembers what you like to eat, never remembers what your hobbies are, never put your dreams or never knows your desires, never, everything is always a surprise, because they don't care about you. So they don't care about you when they are with you, and then don't care about you when they are without you. So that's a total difference. And I believe that most of us are pretty emotionally intelligent, and we should not take that the same way when the person that deeply cares about us tell us, look, I need to rest, I need to take a break. Truly empaths, sensitive people, they recover when they are on their own. They are not bored, they are not nagging. They feel great when they are on their own, especially if they're introverted. So they can have a great time in the nature, reading a book, I don't know, maybe watching something. Although they are more of a into-depth person, they are more of a book person, they are more of a meditation person, and they just to be themselves, they have to have their own time. They can love you madly, but if you don't let them to be in their space, if you like keep, let's say you are currently maybe in a long distance, and if you keep messaging them and try to make them feel guilty because they're not answering your phone, it's like nothing great can be created in a mess. When there is, alarm goes off and the, not alarm, the phone, the notifications and all that, when this is all going on, they can't recharge. They need to completely let go, completely relax, completely fly away, and then they come back happy. You cannot help them to recharge by keep bothering them. So it could be a great time for you. If you're the similar type, you don't even need that to be explained. But if you're not, you just need to learn how to entertain, or take care of yourself and just give them that space. It's really, really important, because they also feel pressure when you kind of make them feel guilty, that they didn't go. And this is a big one. When they often don't want to go to a big party. They feel extremely drained if they go to a party, especially if that is a party that, they just don't particularly like these people. They don't, it's not their type of a party. Or, maybe you have a family of 50 people. I actually gonna bring an example of this. I had somebody who, the lady just, she could not take the 50 people gathering family party. It was too much for her. She would feel anxiety 3 days earlier before the party, because it's too much, and the style of their life, their conversations, things that they were doing, the footballs that they were watching, there was nothing of what she could take. And not to mention that everybody would give you attention because she was different. So instead of trying to push an empath person to attend these events, let them just do what they want to do. Because it's really extremely hard. They would rather, meet your mom and have a small gathering, maybe like your mom and your brother, just like having some lunch together when it's not overwhelmed. They absolutely despise the crowds. Sorry guys, the crowds and the loud things like that. So you just, if you just learn how to respect them and don't push them to attend what they don't want to attend without the feeling of guilt, you can create an incredible connection. And to be very honest, an empath is one of the best kind of partners, because this person connected with you on the highest level possible. It's not the just external connection. It's not just their pretty face and body, which obviously fades with time, but that is something where you connected deep. And even if you end up separating, this person will be always your friend. If you some relationships only meant to be that much, and sometimes, you know, you stay somehow friends with your ex, and it can freak out some people, but it's not uncommon for a empath, because they just have a really big heart, and they feel for people, and as long as that's a positive, that both people moved on, they still can be friends, because they just very loving, very caring people, and they expect the same. Not that only they expect, but they can only take that in return. They cannot be with somebody who is negative, because it can literally kill them. So it's a very precious gem that you can have. I will make more videos about it. It's a very big topic, and I will give some tips on this, just some more insight. I feel like, you know, I've been talking for a while, but I'm just scratching the surface on this, because I feel that sometimes there is not only the mentality difference, the gender difference, but there is also different psychological types. And if you get anything from this video, I would say the bottom line: leave her alone. Do not pursue the person. Let them rest. Let them come to you. If you know that your person is pretty emotional, and they like to be by themselves, they need that time. And the thing is, when somebody takes a day off and you keep messaging them, that ruins their day, because empath recharges in a quiet environment. So if they can't recharge being bombarded. So, and the thing is, they build resentment toward you when you keep doing that. When you keep the noisy stuff, they build resistance toward you, and sometimes it can be just too late. Somebody asked me about the mysterious Russian soul. What does it mean? And this is part of it. In Russia, in Ukraine, and all the other Slavic countries, we do not have this approach that you need to be always fakely happy. And it's very hard sometimes to figure out for us, people who smiling to us in US, like who we're trying to make friends with, do they really like us, or do they just smile because it's kind of a custom or tradition? And sometimes we feel very puzzled, because we feel the person smile, but yet we feel that the person really doesn't care. Like, people who are empathetic, they can feel it, and it's like a huge confusion. And I have nothing against it, about being smiley and polite, but it confuses the hell out of Russian and Ukrainian people who come, because they can't figure out. It feels strange. So, I would like to suggest you guys maybe make some research on this topic, if that's the situation you are in. Oops, just a moment. That's the person you are dating with and you're confused. So I would suggest learning more. I will be making more videos about it. But once again, do not expect from the empathetic person to show the feelings that they don't actually feel, and to show, like I just mentioned, the kind of not fake happiness, but sort of like a fake politeness in a way. It's not fake. The thing is, now living here, I know it's a custom, but the person who is new here, they feel very often that it's fake. So do not ask them to do all these things against of how they feel. It's really, really important. Just let them be themselves. They will pick up on the customs with time, and the thing is, they might get connected with the customs, and it will be easier for them to do that. But when it comes to the mysterious Russian soul, it often means that we find certain beauty in sadness. Sometimes you feel sad, you have certain feelings, certain, more complicated, more elaborate, more deep emotions about something, and you really do not feel like expressing any other emotions. We do find certain beauty in sadness, and we usually prefer to let ourselves feel it. And in fact, it feels so natural and weird and fake when we're trying to be always happy, like always on our toes, always a bit. Yes, there are some people that are more on a bit side, more on a this kind of temperament, but empaths, the introverted kind, very often like the silence, like the movies with a lot of insights and different psychological thrillers and things like that. So just try to see the beauty in the sadness. It's not some sadness that is necessarily some dragging, it's kind of like, think about the poetry. Sometimes the poetry, the depths of it touch you right to your heart. Or sometimes when you watch some very deep movie that's not always a happy ending, but it moves your soul. It's another way, and sometimes you need to cry, and you feel after you cry that out, you feel like you're born again. You feel like your soul had really experienced something. Like sometimes maybe you had a movie in your life that you watched, and you lived together, with the heroes in the movie, and there was maybe something tragic, but something that actually opened up your eyes to maybe how to love more, or how to live more, or how to appreciate more, or I don't know, just sometimes these sad experiences or tragic experiences are extremely powerful, and we give ourselves some time to go through it, but then when we have happy times, we are even deeply happier because we know what sadness is. You never know what happiness is and positivity when you go through some pain, when you go through some sadness. So don't try to push, the person that we're talking today, this type, to smile when they don't like to smile, or to laugh when they don't feel like laughing. So I will see your comments later, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I see some of the comments right now saying I have some introverts here. Jonathan, thank you for the kind words. And Chuck is saying you can smother any women regardless, and it's very true. It just, with the empath, with a sensitive person, very often if you smother them, you can kill them. I mean, well, maybe not kill them physically, but your relationship will be over very soon, because they cannot take that pressure. And just giving them respect, giving them the time, and it does have also one huge benefit, is these people usually pretty self-secure, like they don't need every minute validation, they don't need all the time stimulation, and they're not needy. They're not gonna be the ones that keep calling you and texting you when you taking your time off. So yeah, Mark is saying something. Mark, I'll try to see what you're saying. Mark is saying learning to live together and grow closer is essential. When a couple can really feel that they can be themselves with each other, you can pretty much work through anything. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So, and the empath is a type that is in that relationship because they are enjoying being closer, being close. They would not be with you for any other reason but a relationship itself. So that what makes them a gem. That's what makes them a rare flower, a rare rose, a rare find in this world. Because an empath, there is no other reason for them to be with you, but they desire being with you. And they're the most faithful and the most dedicated people. They have their struggles, but we'll talk about this more, guys. I don't want to go over 30 minutes. I will make another video on this with some practical tips, and I currently working on video lessons. And I want to say, guys, those of you who had bought my video lessons on different topic of scamming, I'm gonna be adding more material to them this week, and they're gonna be no extra cost to you. So if you got some of those video lessons, so there are gonna be some updates. And on Wednesday we're gonna have our VIP call at 7 p.m. Eastern. So Mark, I'll see you there, and Ricky, and whoever is here still. I know some of you guys are driving from work. Most of you guys are watching when it's good for you. So I appreciate everybody watching the replay when they can. I totally understand how busy your life is. And appreciate your time. If you have an insight on this particular topic, you're very welcome to share. Maybe you are an empath, so share your survival tips, and I will see you guys very soon. Have a wonderful evening.